What's happening, guys? This is Alex. So I'm bringing you a My Parents Think I'm Gay Part 2. And if you haven't seen Part 1, I strongly encourage you. The link will possibly be in the description. And yeah, so go watch it. Either way, I will give you a quick little summary of the video. But before that, I wanted to talk about the gameplay. So this is a domination, a regular domination on Nuketown. And it's pretty much same old, same old. We all know air support rapes, and I had played a couple lobbies with these guys, and so for the beginning part of the match, I decided to play a little bit more defensive and get my dogs. And please, the hundreds of you that said, I promise, at my nearest possibility, I will give $2 dogs back. Please, get off my back. Anyway though, so basically in part 1 of this video, I kind of talked about this funny story of my life where my mom basically thought I was gay because I wasn't very interested in girls, and I wasn't very interested in getting a girlfriend, I should say, and she basically went into this whole deal to kind of, you know, go out of her way and even go on Facebook and ask some of the people on my friends list if they thought I was gay or not. Anyway though, so like I said, it was a pretty funny video, and a lot of you guys wanted to know my responses. A lot of you mentioned that my mom was a witch with a B, and a lot of you mentioned that if you were put into my situation, you would have probably flipped. Well, actually, I rather doubt that, because I was extremely confused, and I almost took it as a joke at first. So basically, the way it went down is one afternoon, I should say, my parents basically said, sit down on the table, and I sat down. I was a bit skeptical at what exactly they meant, and they basically went into this whole conversation talking about how homosexuality is not wrong, and they would have nothing against it if I was a homosexual. And then they came out with the question, and they asked me if I was gay. And I basically kind of laughed it off. I didn't know how to respond. I basically tried to say, no, you know, leave me alone, please. I don't like boys, and I'm just not very interested in having a girlfriend. And I'm guessing they did not understand, especially my mom. Anyway though, so I was a little bit confused at first, and as time moved on, as she started taking it more seriously and she started doubting my decision and my answer, I was kind of getting a little bit angry with the situation, because it was getting too long for me to deal with crap like this, and I felt that it kind of needed to stop. So she kept going on and on and on. And actually, around this time, I was getting a little bit more interested in girls. And as you all know, if you have hit puberty, or around the age of 14 or 15, this might get a little bit weird. Hormones are raging in you, and you basically become this little pervert. Well, nothing different happened to me, and to say the least, a little pervert, a little 14-year-old pervert, with a computer basically leads to very, very nasty things. Well, anyway, so one evening I was a little bit curious, and I had my laptop, you know, sitting right next to me, and, you know, I decided to look up some interesting artifacts and historical events on the interwebs, and I basically went on a website or two, and that was the end of that, and nobody really found out. Everything went quiet after that for a little bit, but I was still curious. You know, I was a little bit out there on the matter, and I wanted to know more on how this entire thing works, and so I basically started going on these websites over and over, and my dad happened to see my history, and he didn't really mind it at first. He saw it and he was like, what is this, you know, porn XXX, you know, what are you going on? And I'm like, oh, it's some new games website, you wouldn't understand. And I don't know if he tried to play it off, but he basically said, oh, you know, whatever. And nothing really happened until about the third time I did it. Yes, I know. Commence the pervert jokes. Anyway, so like I said, one afternoon, I was on my little Fun Time website, and I have basically in my room one of those doors which opens very, very quietly, which is not good. And my mom opened my door, and she basically stood there for a good 15 or so minutes. I'm probably exaggerating, but she stood there and basically watched me with my mouth open, watching some poontang. Anyway, so after about what felt to be like, I don't know, a minute or two, she spoke up and she said, "What are you watching?" And I turned around and I did not know what to do. I quickly closed the website that I was on, and I just looked at her face, and it was basically this face of disappointment and I guess kind of relief. And so right around this time, it was time for dinner, and the idiot that I am, I decided I was hungry. So I went to dinner, and basically there wasn't any talking for a good 10 minutes or so, but and then my mom spoke up, and she turned to my dad. He was a little bit like, oh, what the hell's going on here? Are they like mad at each other? And so my mom spoke up, and she said to my dad, "Do you know what your son has been watching?" And I basically gave my mom the nod. I was like, "Mom, shut the fuck up. Mom, shut up." And she said, "Your son has been on some very, very bad websites. You better talk to him." And of course, I'm trying to kind of mix it up for comical intake right now, but it went down something like that. But anyway, so basically, my mom left the table, and my dad kind of sat there and talked to me, and the greatest thing he had to say was, "Well, I guess you know about sex, so until the time you do it, make sure you use protection." and like I said, my dad didn't really give a shit. Anyway, but it was one of the most awkward moments of my life, as you guys can imagine. And yes, pretty random or funny story. I don't know. Don't judge me for watching pornography. I was curious. I was 14, and yeah. So, oh, and by the way, theater fail. I kind of left it unattended here, and I didn't realize. But yeah, ever since, neither of them really questioned my sexuality. So yeah. Anyway, though, so my final score is 103-6, I believe. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more life stories like this one, please leave it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later.